welcome back to the channel. We are back at it again. What I've done now, if you recall in the last video, you saw me glass in the area for the cutouts of the square taillights that was going in it. I was going to install the round taillights. Let me show you what we got here. Okay, these are mocked up and in place, good to go. Line up real nice. I just like this better than the square taillights. They're bigger, they're brighter, they show better. And let's face it, these cars are small enough and people are going to miss them anyway without having dim taillights. So I think I like this a lot better. Quite happy with how this turned out. And in continuing to tie up loose ends, I've got the hose clamps on all three of the reservoirs. I'm still waiting on a part to clamp those inlets to the actual master cylinder. They will be here next week. Okay, performing one of the more nerve-wracking parts of any build is drilling holes in the body. I don't know if you can actually see this or not. There we go. Dealing a little bit with shades, but what I've done here is I've gone ahead and I have drilled the holes for all the headlight mounts, for this mount here for the turn signals, and of course you saw in the earlier video I've got the taillights roughed in as well. So the next step is to spread some filler. Okay, once again expressing my extreme novicehood about this, I have spread some filler on here, waiting for this to cure, to see if I can smooth out that area on the nose that was really rough. I also spread some here to try to smooth out that body line there from the remainder of that seam, and back here, roughed all this in to smooth that out. Of course, a lot of that won't show because it'll be covered by the tail lights, but I at least want it to be real nice and slick and sturdy, so I think it will be just fine. I'll sand that down as soon as it cures, and that may do it for today. I'm feeling kind of lazy today, may not do much. One other thing I did do is I got a cutting wheel attachment for my Dremel, and I've come in here and I've started trimming these pieces out here. Ran out of battery right there, so I'll trim that piece off there. Also got this trimmed down under here, where that looks nice and neat. So the body is starting to shape up. I may come in here and do some of this here, smooth all that out as well, and then move forward. Haven't decided yet how I'm going to attack this. The filler, I was having trouble getting it to spread on that particular angle. That's just my inexperience. I've got some red putty on the way, but some of these gouges are a little bit deep for that, so I think I might try to initiate some filler in that and then come back later and putty it if I have to. Alright, continuing with body work. This rough part right here, I've just about got it filled in. There was a divot right there, maybe just a little bit more, but I might be able to take care of that with glazing putty because it's very slight. Some residual stuff I've got to sand off right there. Got a little bit of a deep throat there, but this stuff will show up more after the first bit of primer, which I'm getting very close to squirting my first bit of primer. Under here, you can see I've got those edges cleaned off. I've got to sand them now, smooth now, but it's no longer drooping down. Same as with over here on the bottom of the body. You can see that it's trimmed down quite a bit. I've got this smoothed out quite a bit. With this ridge right here, this part of the body was just a little bit lower than this. I've got that sloped off. Same with this right here. That's nice and sloped off. I've still got to touch on the edges of the wheel guards here because they've got some rough places in it. I started on the passenger front side. I'll show you that in just a moment. I've got part of it done, but I need to go back and hit it again. This right here is smoothed out, ready to go. This is smoothed out, ready to go. Here's some more rough edges here on this here, as you can see. I'm going to have to work on that, but this is good. This is ready to go. I need to get some trimming down here. You can see right here, this is how both sides were. I've got the other side trimmed down now. I've got to get this one to match. That way it's not so jagged looking. This smoothed out. This is good. This is the wheel arch that I've done some work on. I've got a lot of it taken care of, but I've still got a couple of bad places. There's one right here, for example, was a pretty deep crevice. Right here, it's a pretty deep crevice, and I've got a pinhole right here. So all of those have to be addressed. I've got a place right here that's going to have to be filled. This nose was really rough, and it's proving to be one of the more challenging sections of the car. But I also got all the holes drilled for the headlights, Holes drilled for this. Of course, the tail lights, which you've already seen as well. I've got some more trimming to do in this nose piece right here, but I don't have the tool to do it yet. I'm going to have to get an attachment for my Dremel to get into those rounded areas, which I can certainly get. I just got to order it, which means it'll be here in a few days and I'll start hitting that. But we're slowly getting the body roughed in. As soon as I get all this filler work done, which is 3 of the 4 wheel arches plus the one I've already worked on, and some other areas smoothed out just a bit and get some of those areas trimmed out just a bit, we'll be ready for the first coat of primer. I'm going to lay it on thick with the high build, cover as many of these scratches as I can. I've still got to work these door jambs out right here where the body seam blended in, but that's going to be hand sanding, and that's going to be quite a bit of a challenge. This still got some wax in it left over from that as well. So the door jambs need attaching well, so I will hit that on the next time. But frankly, I'm about to run out of steam for the day. I've been out here all day and I'm ready to call it one. One other thing I have done on this is you can see that the steering linkage was in place as it was before, but I've already actually drilled the hole in this piece here. Remember that screw was sticking out way far. I said I had to drill a hole. Well, that is done. That is inset, ready to go. The steering is tightened up quite a bit. Works really well. I've started doing the preliminary work on getting an idea of where I'm going to put the glove box door. That's going to take some work, and I've still got to figure out how to actually get that done, but all in good time. I might actually have a friend of mine help me with that. That's quite a bit better at that kind of stuff than I am. So again, I got the clamps on the reservoirs leading down to the master cylinders, and the clamps on the master cylinder input are on the way. They'll be here sometime next week. And of course, I've done some trimming here. This under the cowl section here is where we are right now. This was really jagged, so I've got that nice and smoothed out. Same goes on the back here. This was really jagged. Now it's nice and slicked out. Of course, I've got to come back in here with block sanding and sand it down further to make it even. But you can see the pieces that I cut off of it were quite jagged. So definitely making some progress in that area. Again, the lessons that I've learned and spoken about on the 32 apply here. Don't know what that is. That is, don't get in a hurry. Take your time. And if you make a mistake or you miss a spot, go over it and keep hitting it until you go. Hopefully, once I spray the first bit of primer on it, I can start finding spots that I'm not seeing now in the black gel coat. When the primer, you can typically see things a lot better. Smooth that area out, and then we'll move on to block sanding with 320, which is the step that I'm at right now on the 32. On the 32, I'm about ready to start on 400 next trip up, which will be next weekend. That's going to do it for today. Thank you for joining me. Please hit the subscribe. We are very close to 300 subscriptions. I'd like to hit that soon just to have a little bit of a celebration. And if you like the content, please feel free to share. We'll see you next time.